hello, I ain't the Easter Bunny, but I was his manager, sort of come minder kind of thing. And anyway, I got into a bit of a fight, a bit of a ray last night I had with one of Santa's elves who reckoned that Santa's more important than the Easter Bunny. And it all got a bit tasty. Anyway, all he did was do this and he broke my ear. But other than that, I think I'm all right. But a bit of a busy night, and I haven't had a chance to have a shave, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so talking about the Easter Bunny, well, me and him, we go way back. We used to knock around the flats in the Warren until he got the calling light about being the Easter Bunny and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he got me a job at the egg factory. I couldn't stand it. Oh man, all them chicks so moody, like crikey, hormones all over the place. Anyhow, enough about that. I'm going to tell you a little tale about one of my ancestors, innit? I think one of my great-granddads. I think it's my great-granddad's uncle's second cousin or something, anyway, like that. Anyhow, story's called Peter Rabbit, and he's a legend where I come from. So pin your ears back and listen proper, like, all right? Anyway, here we go. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank. Not the sandbanks, they ain't that posh. Underneath the roof of a big fir tree. Now, my dears, said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there and he is put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. I wonder if they had mash and jellied eels with that pie. That sounds a bit good, a bit tasty. Now, she said, anyway, run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out. Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and she went to the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of bread, 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, they were good little bunnies. And anyway, they went down the lane to gather berries, blackberries in fact. But Peter, who was really naughty, he ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuces, and then some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, greedy pig feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and shouting out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. Yeah, he must have been. I bet he made loads of little rabbit droppings that day. Anyway, he rushed all over the garden, for he'd forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. God blimey, my mum, she'd kill me for doing that. Anyhow, after losing him, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether had he not unfortunately run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It's quite a blue jacket with brass buttons and quite new. Anyhow, Peter gave himself for lost. What? He gave himself up for lost? Anyway, and shed some big old tears. But his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve which he intended to pop on top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. And he rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath a flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed, "Ka-choo!" and Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Don't give up, does he? And he tried to put his foot on Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter, so he went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had no idea which way to go. Not very clever, this Peter, is he? Nah, I bet he wasn't related directly to me. Must have been some remote cousin. Anyway, he's also really damp sat in that can. Well, what the hell did he sit in the can for, the fool? Anyway, after a time, he began to wonder about going lippity-lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. Right, by the way, I'm going to have a little bit of a break. So anyway, I'll talk to you in a minute. All right.